From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 125. Episode 125.
Yes.
I don't know what that was. I am Chris.
And I'm Steve, and I'm working on a treatment for a Star Wars spinoff called Moisture Farmers.
Oh, that sounds delightful. Would it be about Owen Lars and Aunt Beru?
Of course it would be.
Okay, so during what period of their life would this spinoff take place? I mean, relative to when we've seen them in the original trilogy, in the prequel trilogy?
I think it would have to exist in between when they... So, like... them raising young Luke and
young Luke
and them trying to get water out of the ground, I guess.
Yeah,
is what they did.
Okay. So, I mean, would young Luke be a character in this? I mean,
yes, and that's what his name in the script is going to be. Every time he talks, it's going to say young Luke because I don't want anybody to be confused if they're reading the script and thinking that it's Luke Skywalker, like the Jedi.
Right. Yeah. We don't want anybody to get confused about that. Do they farm anything other than moisture? I'm going to ask this in part.
Do you need help?
No. I'm just trying to.
There you go. It's a little bit.
I'm trying to do something there, listeners. While I'm multitasking, and I thought what I was doing would generate some audio goodness here, but
not really. Ooh. That was a nice pop.
Yeah, except I was doing it on the wrong side of the microphone. It should have been over here, and then I went pop.
So I gotta tell you guys, we are sponsored this week. Not really, but.
Oh, they're gluten-free.
Yeah, they're gluten-free. So we're sponsored, but not really, by Picnic Original Shoestring Potato Sticks. So anytime, anywhere, have a picnic for over
in your derriere.
No.
I'm sorry.
For over 75 years, Picnic has been making the highest quality, best-tasting shoestring potatoes in the world. Picnic selects only the best fresh potatoes. Then we slice them a little thicker and a little longer than your ordinary potato sticks. This gives Picnic shoestrings their superior, richer potato flavor. So, yes.
Made in the USA.
We're finally getting some potato sticks because we were talking about it. Do they still exist?
They do.
And Becky did find them at the grocery store.
They're delightful. They taste as good as they sound.
All right, now put them away.
Do they farm? Thank you to Picnics for sponsoring Horribly Off Topic.
But not really.
And all of ClarkWoods.com. No,
but...
do they farm anything other than moisture is what I'm wondering.
They farm potatoes, and that they actually...
Well,
that's
Picnic sponsored... Our sponsor farms moisture.
No. Our sponsor farms potatoes, and also that's what Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, they farm potatoes as well. Once they get enough moisture, they make a potato.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Is that like the extended universe, Steve?
Yes.
Do I have to?
I'm writing it right now. I'm writing it out loud.
No, but I mean, is that what they now call legends? Like I'd have to go read a fucking book.
Yes.
To find out about, and that stuff's not canon anymore.
Oh, those books aren't? Those
all the books that came out prior to...
Put those away. No more eating.
But you said I needed to eat them.
I said you needed to eat some. We're done with the ad.
All right.
You can have them after.
You don't want to have... My children have probably passed a cold on to me. You do not want to have
Becky's
those...
sick too, so we're good.
All right.
No, I'm not eating yours. I'm just putting yours over there. I'm putting mine over here.
Okay, but you better keep... Shit. I mean, you better keep it, you don't mind germs. My germs have germs.
Okay, so I'm going to change the subject.
But I had a point in asking you that.
All right, what?
And I wanted to ask.
Well, they have to do something, but like, okay, so they, I mean,
the only thing I've ever seen
economy,
the only thing I've ever seen anybody farm is moisture, and I say this, and I can't get into spoilers because I've seen Rogue One and you haven't. Mm-hmm. But there is another what looks like example of somebody farming moisture. And you'd always think, okay,
are they on another desert planet? Why would you need to farm moisture unless it's...
There is a desert planet in the film, but where I saw the moisture being farmed was not on a desert planet. See, that's the thing. So when you see it on Tatooine, when you see it on, is it Jakku in The Force Awakens? I think that's the one. That's at yeah. I think that's where
shrugging
Ray
my
comes.
shoulders does not necessarily work on a podcast, but there you go.
Well, I tried to express your shrug in my response.
Okay.
And I think it came across. I'm the one with the headphones on. I'm going to say yes, it came across.
All right, perfect.
On a desert planet, I guess it makes sense that you're farming moisture, but on this other planet that I saw the moisture farming
You wouldn't
happening,
need to farm it. You just need to find it.
yeah, I don't.
It would be moisture finding.
Moisture.
Ooh, there's a lake. I found it.
Moisture finding. Now that
a puddle. That is me.
I am not going there this week, Steve, because I was embarrassed by how gross and overly and overtly sexual I was throughout the entire last episode. So I am not going to pick up the what you were putting down there with the moisture.
Yeah,
I want more potatoes.
I can't stop. No, well, sorry.
I can't stop. No, it's
you can have them.
salt.
You can have them. Well, just drink some of your water. Everything will be fine.
All right. So, I mean, that was why I was asking about the moisture farming. Now you may change the subject.
Okay, so we just ate some delicious picnic shoestring potato sticks. And you remember cheese balls?
I do remember cheese balls.
Like Planters Cheez Balls were...
I think the ones I'm remembering most recently are Utz.
Well, Utz makes them now,
Yeah.
and I imagine they did in the past as well. But... Like, I remember always as a kid getting Planters Cheez Balls.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know.
Because we trust them with our nuts. Why not with anything? I didn't. I swear I didn't mean anything by it. No, we trust them with the nuts that we eat.
Yes. But, of course. Delicious nuts. But
Or our parents did.
yeah, our parents trusted
Our parents trusted Planters with our nuts.
Yes, and then but for some reason, Planters decided to not be trusted with our balls anymore.
And Utz took over.
And Utz basically said, "We'll grab the balls and run with it."
Oh, that sounds painful.
So. But Planters, I don't know why they stopped making them. It's not like Planters stopped being a company.
No,
They still...
No, I believe they're still around.
Yeah, they believe?
I believe they're still in business, Steve.
Yes, they are definitely still in business. Yeah. I've had a peanut or two in my time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying you haven't had one in your time, but when was the last time you had a Planters peanut?
It was less than a month ago, I think.
All right. Case closed.
Well, who
Problem
knows?
solved.
Like, in the coming year when half the world is blown up, maybe they won't be able to make...
Mayhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. They can keep they can keep the drone. I don't care.
Planters, cheese balls. What was your point about bringing up the? I remember.
I just wanted to talk about
you
old
just wanted to talk
snacks.
about old snacks. I mean, yeah, cheese balls, potato sticks. None of these things I recall as being all that good.
No, well, I remember
was that
cheese
part of the
balls being
point?
better than potato sticks.
Yeah.
And the simple fact that I had to take away your potato sticks
It
means that they were better than
Then cheese balls. I mean,
or
if you put,
better than you saying you don't want them.
you put food in front of me, Steve, and I tend to eat it.
What if I just put like a bunch of rolled oats uncooked in front of you? Would you just start eating it?
It depends on how hungry I was.
All right.
It depends on how hungry I was and whether it looked vaguely salty or sweet.
Okay. Because
I mean, salt and sugar; those are my vices.
I've been pretty good. Like I've been trying to stay away from the sweets.
Stay away from the sweet.
This holiday season.
That's a difficult. I mean, it's a difficult thing at any time of the year.
Like after Thanksgiving, I just was like, I need to cut back on the sweets because, yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea around the holidays to do anyways,
right?
Because it's the time where people tend to pack on the pounds because there's all this rich, sweet or fatty or both food, laying all over the place. So. If you guys want to be cool like me, don't eat sweets for the holidays and get dirty looks from everyone because you're like you won't eat their cookies or brownies or whatever the fuck they made.
Yeah, no, that's
they're like, oh, you're too good to eat my shit. And I'm not talking about eating shit. I'm talking about eating stuff.
I wasn't even gonna. No, I think balls are okay to joke about. Stuff that comes out of balls. See, I think. Let me.
You need to stop.
No, what I'm saying is like if the shit. That's why I wasn't going there because I promised I wasn't going to the gross places.
I just did.
But we talked about we made innuendo about balls and nuts. Like I feel like that's okay. I feel like talking about body parts is probably okay. Joking about body, but when you talk about the stuff that comes out of body parts, that's the bridge too far. That's
no,
the
I don't
line.
think that's the bridge too far. I think it's the frequency is the issue.
Okay.
So if you're subtle some of the time, and then every once in a while you throw that curveball of like just being exceptionally gross. Okay. But if you're gross the whole way through, it just desensitizes.
Oh, that's okay. Right.
That's my take on it.
Well, you are the master.
I am.
I am the student. I am your Padawan.
Oh, gross.
What a fucking terrible name. Where did he come up with whatever? We talked about that. We've talked about that before. We talked about it probably last week.
It's like poetry. It's like they rhyme.
Padawan.
I don't know.
I found out not through the movie that I saw, but through reading up a little bit about Star Wars and the parts of the extended universe that still count, that at one point Anakin had a Padawan. Were you aware of this?
Yeah, I think it's on those
in the Clone
Wars shows.
Yeah. And now it's on like Rebels. I hear that part of that came back to bite him in the ass that he used to have a Padawan, Mr. Vader. I heard. Because there's a
did he
shot.
kill that person like in that giant like let's kill all the Jedi?
It doesn't sound like it. No, it sounds like that person was around long enough to face off against him once he was in the armor. Like that's the Rebels era, as I understand it. And I haven't watched either of these programs. Either
I watched a little bit of the Clone Wars one, and I was less than impressed.
Yeah, but Rebels gets a lot of kudos, as I understand it. But apparently there's an episode where Vader, in Vader gear, in the time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, he gets into a confrontation with his former Padawan, and she gets in a lucky blow with her lightsaber and cuts part of the Darth Vader mask, and you see his yellow eye looking angry underneath the mask in this still frame.
Was he jaundiced? Did he not have enough fruit?
No, but don't you remember? Like that's one of the signs of of being a Sith.
Oh, is having yellow eyes?
Yellow eyes, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean they make a big deal of him crying with his yellow eye in Revenge of the Sith, and then yeah. I mean, just after he's kind of killed somebody, they bring it back to normal eyes for his duel with Obi-Wan, and then when he gets lit on fire, I think his eyes go yellow. I don't know.
These are things that I did not notice.
Well, you know what I noticed.
That?
Because I've been going back. One of my big projects this year has been bringing all of my old blogs back online. I was going through 2005 today,
which was
when Revenge of the Sith came out.
Oh crap!
And I wrote a glowing review of Revenge of the Sith.
What?
So
I want to hear I mean, obviously you're not gonna. I mean, you read it. You read your review.
Okay, glowing is probably it was. I was trying to defend it even then. I was like, I enjoyed this movie and fuck anyone who didn't, and all the cool people on the internet are going to tell you hate it, but it's good.
Well,
so there.
I guess it's the best of the prequels.
Well,
it's the darkest of the three.
But I, in that same article, in that same blog post, referenced my glowing reviews of the previous two movies.
Oh, Chris.
Which I have not gotten to make live yet, so I can't put those in the show notes. But I can put the link to the Revenge of the Sith one. If
doing it in reverse chronological order. That's fun.
It's the easiest way to go. It's a really dumb project. And today I was thinking, if we run out of material on the show, is there any way that I can make a description of this project, which is really dumb, be funny? Could I do it in a way that, like, if I paused every couple of seconds, Steve could make a snide remark that would then make it...
You're just going to go through all that? I mean, get out of...
No. I decided I can't make it funny. So I decided let's not talk about it, except that we started talking about Star Wars. And then it did bring that up. And that is a thing that I am going to give you crap for. But, and already did. Yeah.
I want to actually read this blog post you made. 11 years ago.
It's reading some of the stuff that I read 11 years. I was in like you commented on I don't know if it was my face or the tone of my voice when I first came in here today, and that's part of the problem of going through things you wrote 10, 11 years ago is that like you can stumble across stuff that you're really embarrassed to have written. And I've been doing a lot of that. I'm
definitely my only published work. I'm not embarrassed about at all. And if you remember from previous episodes, it was called "Interesting Story."
Yes, it was.
And you'll probably link it in the show notes.
I can try to find that one. Yes,
I think you actually put a picture of the story.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody gave that to us. Right?
No, I mean it was mine.
Oh, yeah. You brought it.
I brought it, and you took a picture of it, and you put it online.
I was thinking we had help
because like you couldn't really transcribe it, which was the whole issue with that story in the first place. Is like I wrote it on a typewriter, just being a goof, waiting for a friend to get out of work.
Yeah.
And they had a typewriter in their office, and so I just started typing that story.
Yeah.
I gave it to my friend Jason, and he said, "Ha, this is hilarious. I'm submitting it. I'm submitting it to the literary magazine." And I'm like, okay. And then our good friend Brian, I think he was the editor-in-chief, and the rest of the folks on the staff there thought it should be in there. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you have to put it in as is. You can't transcribe it because it takes away from some of the humor of the story. Is the fact that I wrote it on a typewriter, and there's spelling errors and cross-outs and things that wouldn't happen. Well, you could still have spelling errors in a document, but they're less likely with a little red line underneath them when you're typing it out in Word or whatever.
Right.
So you know, check that out if Chris does that. If not, then fuck
don't.
yourself.
Yeah. But you say that's the only time you've been published. But just before the show, we were talking about an instance where. Were you published in high school?
Wait! Holy crap! I forgot about that.
So we brought this up.
I forgot about it, even though we just talked about it.
In the context of one of the things that I found in my bringing these old blogs back online was an image of a cover I'd done in high school for the student newspaper, the school newspaper of which I was the news editor for a little while. It's called The Voice, but every April Fool's Day, it was called The Void.
Right.
They replaced the C with a D. I don't know if you knew what they did there.
I understand.
Yeah, and I had a cover that was a picture of a stereotypical grunger kid with a Nine Inch Nails T-shirt. With kind of long, unkempt hair saying, "I thought I was alternative," and behind him, we had fun with Photoshop, and we just took that drawing and cloned it into a row of that same guy.
Because that's, you know.
Yeah, because, everyone thought they were alternative in 1995, and nobody was. But you said, whatever about that stuff, but you said on the back cover...
That back cover of that very same issue was a story that I wrote... and it was, I think, what the government wants you to know about aliens or something like that. I was the original Alex Jones.
Title. I like it when it's easy. I'm just gonna be able to write that one down, and I don't have to search the whole rest of the episode for a title unless we come up with something better.
Yeah, me and Jesse Ventura, we talk about conspiracies all day. False flags, the fact that 9/11 was an inside job.
Thermite paint.
They sprayed the walls with thermite paint, and then they lit it on fire when the planes hit.
Oh, yeah, Mean Gene. No.
I used to be a wrestler, a Navy SEAL.
Did you, Jesse?
Yes. Fucking idiot.
Eat your heart out, Jesse Ventura.
But yeah, and so basically, it was a story that was entirely redacted. Hilarious.
Right. Yeah, so it's just like a bunch of black.
It was just a bunch of black lines. I think I think my original what I originally wanted to do with the story was just have occasional words be like apparent, but I think that was too much of a pain in the ass for you guys.
It was too much work for a bunch of slacker high school students.
Yeah, slacker high school students. They were like, no, let's just do the whole thing. And I'm like, well, okay.
Right.
I was hoping like to get a the or a but or something else like just articles, not really describing anything.
But that would have required actually writing a whole piece and then blacking it out.
Right.
And then scanning it in, and of course scanning it in,
back in
1995, like getting a full page image quality would have been.
I mean, it was kind of tricky back in like, what was it, 2003, 2004? Back when college, when they put that into the literary magazine.
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, it's a big file at that point, and it's the internet is okay, but you generally, if you're sending it off to a printer, you're probably having to put it onto some kind of a disc. It was. I was doing my college literary magazine through 1999, and we had to use these fun things called zip discs. Do you ever use a zip disc, Steve?
I have heard you regale me stories about the
good old
days of the zip disc. And was that the one that was like in the hard plastic?
Yeah, it was like hard plastic. It was,
but like harder plastic than
a 3 1/4 floppy.
Yeah.
It was a little, just the tiniest bit wider than a 3 1/4 floppy. And
there are people out there in the world that don't have any idea what we're fucking talking about. When you say 3/4 floppy.
When I say 3/4 floppy, and it actually wasn't a floppy.
It was not like we had. Well, it was inside. Inside
right. Inside it was floppy.
Inside it was a floppy disk.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was. It was a trying time to be a computer user.
I remember I had a couple of just. I don't know, just floppy disks.
Disks.
I had some disks that I would save papers in college, and I remember there was one that I had that up until the point where I'm just going to email these to my, because I remember there was one time I wrote a paper. It was when I was going to school in North Adams.
Yeah,
and I wrote a paper and I left my backpack at my house.
Yeah. Oh.
And I drove all the way to school,
and
I was going to school in North Adams. And if you're unfamiliar with the geography of Massachusetts,
yeah,
which I don't imagine everyone is, North Adams, Massachusetts is in the top left-hand corner of Massachusetts,
yes.
like
the northwest corner. Of,
so basically
northwest corner,
right on the border of Vermont and New York. So I drove from my place, from my dad's place in Chelmsford, all the way down Route 2 to there, and realized I didn't have my backpack with the disc that I had my paper on, so I could print it out at the computer lab, so I could hand it in for my. It was like, I think it was a final too.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So I had to. I think I grabbed a friend of mine and drove all the way back, and then drove. I left originally that day at like 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it was, I had no classes on Mondays, so that's when I would drive back. And then I got back, I think, at around midnight. It was because it was pouring rain out.
Yeah.
And it was just like a garbage day, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, I got but then I'm like, I'm just gonna email them to myself now. Like, why would I put myself through this anymore?
Yeah,
and there's less of a chance of that happening. I mean, I could put it on the disc.
Steve, why don't you use Dropbox? What are you using?
I didn't. There
was
exist.
No such fucking thing.
It didn't exist back then. I mean, my only email was.
It's a baby's toy.
Yeah. My only email back then was a Hotmail account.
Wait, it wasn't Bust-A-Mail at that point?
No, my Bust-A-Mail, I think it broke, or like I would tell people that's my email address, and like I would never get emails from people, and maybe because they didn't want to email me, or it was the fact that the server for Bust-A-Mail was kind of garbage, and I think there was a Public Enemy one as well, and that one was also shitty.
It's just funny, like, what would you even do with a flop, like a 3 1/4 floppy disk? If you found it like sitting in a drawer or in a box in your closet, you're like, what the fuck is this?
I'm like,
what would you do with it?
We had the conversation when the last couple of times Apple's come out with a new laptop, and I'm like, there's no fucking ports.
Yep.
How are we supposed to plug things into it? And you're like, it's fine, everything's wireless.
Yeah, everything's wireless.
You're like, I've drank the Apple Kool-Aid.
I did drink the Apple Kool-Aid in like 2006.
I know, and
it tastes great.
I'm sure it does, Chris. But I occasionally
less filling.
like a port to use like a wireless mouse or some other fucking thing.
Why do you need a port to use a wireless mouse?
Well, some of them use
I
like
know.
the.
I know. I've been looking for a low cost keyboard to use with my iPad on occasion, because my iPad is my mobile computer when I'm doing the office job.
When you're mobile.
When I'm mobile. And most of the time, the keyboard on the iPad that's on screen works fine. And in those other occasions, where it didn't work fine, I've made do with borrowing a computer that's there at the office or waiting till I get home. So I go out and I look, and most of the low-cost ones are exactly what you're talking about. They have a little adapter that has to plug into a USB port in order to actually make them wireless. All the ones that use Bluetooth, they start at like $50.
Yeah.
Unless you go onto Amazon, in which case you can get one that might work from some Chinese company for like $15.
Yeah,
it might work.
Yeah, it might work, and the Ling Long Ding Dong might work. But okay, I brought this up because like I had the one disc that I had most of my things on or whatever. It was a blue disc, and I remember somebody had some. I think it might have been Will's mom had
a red disc.
No, had a little stamp with little snowman stamps.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I had put a bunch of snowman stamps.
Aww.
On there,
like raised stamps, or like just like an ink.
Just ink stamp.
Okay, I was gonna say, because with like a raised stamp on a 3 1/4 floppy, that could cause problems because that could get stuck in the drive there.
No.
But an ink one,
it was just an ink stamp, and I would just put it on there. And I wrote. There was a game that I actually they made a remake of it recently. Well, not that recently. It was the last couple of years. Called XCOM. It was UFO defense, or well, I don't know what the.
And you being the original Alex Jones, you were all about the UFO defense.
Of course I was. Well, it was actually a really difficult game for the PC way back, and so and when I saw that they were going to re-release it, I decided to pick it up, and it was actually a really good remake. It's still really difficult, but I think the way you progress your troops is better. Like, well, obviously, you know, they didn't. They made it less detailed than the original game.
Oh, okay.
And so it made it easier to kind of develop your troops and whatnot. But I because all the snowmans were snow persons,
snowmenses.
The snowmenses were all over the disc.
That's a different thing, Steve.
I wrote
snowmensis is not
snowmenses.
Nothing to joke about.
That's when you just
especially not when you're a dude.
Squirt a little ketchup on your snow lady.
See, that was too far. I stand by what I said earlier. We were fine when we were talking about body parts. The moment we talk about stuff coming out of body parts, then it's gross.
I just like ketchup. Oh, actually, I don't. I really don't like ketchup. That might be an unpopular opinion here.
It's an unpopular opinion here. It's a good thing you don't eat with me that often.
Why? You just put ketchup on everything?
Well,
Becky puts ketchup on everything,
I've tried to get better about it. I used to gross my family
I put
out
hot
with
sauce
how
on
much
everything, and I'm not just trying to
ketchup
pander to get the black vote.
All right. Your disc?
Oh, my disc had all the little snowman stamps on
Okay.
it. And I wrote SCOM, Snowman Defense.
Oh, that's a few years ago, my friend Sean, who works is he at Adult Swim Games? Is that a thing? He's down south at a game studio now, but he was at I think an indie studio for a while, and they put out a tower defense game that was about dinosaurs trying to steal your barbecue. And so I think if they can do that and make it awesome, which it was, then you could do a snowman.
I'm going to have to talk to Paul, and maybe we can get this in development. We can just make it like exactly like XCOM.
Give up the podcast because you might actually make money in the App Store economy.
Yeah, I mean, they made an XCOM mobile version.
Yeah,
I think it was I forget who fucking developed it. Whatever. But yeah, I could be like, hey, Paul, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's make SCOM.
Paul had a game, right? We've talked about that.
He had
before.
Hot Dog Down the
Yes,
Hallway.
yeah. Which
some like bad fruit games, some other things for whatever.
Yeah, I remember I played Hot Dog in a Hallway. I wonder if there's going to be. I don't know when that came out. I wonder if there is going to be an entry on that in my blog. If I'm going to come to the entry where it's like, this kid I knew, he came out with a game. It's about a hot dog in a hallway.
Well, that was in like 2006, 2007.
Oh, all right.
So
if it's already, I've already gone by it.
It was
if it existed.
It was after I finished school, but before I moved to North Carolina.
Okay, all right.
So it was in that 2006, 2007, 2008 time frame, I think. Or it might have been after that, you know.
Back when there was still a hope of making money on
Hot Dog Down Hallway.
Yeah.
I kind of want a hot dog now.
No ketchup though.
No ketchup. I would only want mustard on my hot dog.
Yeah.
I
can do.
Maybe if it was also dill relish. I don't like sweet relish.
Yeah, I don't do relish at all, but
I don't relish.
That was a mistake.
How did we get so horribly off topic? We're talking about condiments now.
Because we were talking about condoms. No, we were talking about menses, and then we were talking about ketchup on your snowman.
I do understand how we did it.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, rhetorical. A question of the rhetorical variety.
I went to rhetoric.
You went to rhetoric?
I don't know what the fuck.
That's like out in Western Massachusetts. It's rhetoric.
Yeah, it's right next to North Adams in Florida, Massachusetts. Because that was one of the towns that I would drive through when I was going there, and I'd be like, I'm sure everybody that lives there, and there's probably very few because it's like there's nothing there, except for maybe like a trailer at the top of a mountain or whatever. Whoever does live there probably is like, yeah, I live in Florida.
I live in Florida, Massachusetts.
No, they don't say the Massachusetts part.
I live in Florida.
I don't know why that's something anybody would want to be proud of.
I'm not sure either. Did you see the when I said rhetoric, Massachusetts, I was imagining it in Casey Affleck's voice because just before I came over here, I watched
Manchester by the Sea.
No, I want to see that a lot, but I saw. I think it must have been from a very recent SNL, but I could be wrong. Maybe he was hosting last night. I don't know.
It might have been.
He was. It was a Dunkin' Donuts commercial starring Casey Affleck with the more recent cast, so I know it wasn't too long ago. And he had his full-on Boston accent going on, and I imagine him saying rhetoric, Massachusetts. I can't do it. What you talking about, guy?
I don't know, buddy.
I can't do it either. I can't.
What do you mean you can't do it either? You were the one who said you couldn't do it. In addition to myself, I also can't do it.
Why can't I? We've talked about this before, but like John Martin, friend of mine, I think it was John. Or one of his friends, if not John, talked to me
some
once
other John?
about
some guy that was trying to get a prostitute. They're known as Johns.
He was talking to me about the particulars of like the Chelmsford accent as opposed to like the Southie accent or things like that.
There's a Chelmsford accent?
He was doing some research and some studying at that point, and he had some very good points.
Or is it Chelmsford, Great Britain? Is he?
No, he was talking about Chelmsford. He was talking about the particulars of the way that we said things up in our neck of the woods, as opposed to the stereotypical Boston sort of Southie accent that the Afflecks put on, and Mr. Damon and all them.
Well, the thing is, like, our parents grew up around here.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to hear it any other way. But like my parents didn't really have much of a Boston accent.
No,
I don't think yours did either.
No, there are certain things, and I've always tried to. I've since forgotten it, but there was a particular, obviously not too bad swear word that my dad used that was where I most heard his accent, and I don't know if it was bastard or if it was
bastard.
Yeah, but it was something. It wasn't shit. It wasn't fuck. I don't know what it was.
Was it like the gay one, the gay slur?
No, it was not that one. But there was something.
That's one that like the Southie guys would relish.
Yes, they would.
Or mustard.
Or mustard. No, but there was anyway. I would be curious to figure that out because it's funny. I'm really interested. It's not funny. It's not even that interesting.
What are you, some sort of fig?
Yeah, that is the way that they would say it.
Yeah.
The differences in British accents. That was you get to eat. He's eating.
I only had one.
I know, and you're further away from your mic when you're doing it. If I promise that I won't.
No. Not until after the show. You can get it. That's your reward for completing the show today.
For completing the show. There's a video. And of course, now that I mention it, I have to go fucking find it.
Yep.
There's a video that I watched where somebody goes through all of the various British accents. And we think about one sort of British accent, which I think is called the received British accent. It's like a stage accent, or it's the one that people put on when they tend to be playing British. But there's also
like sounding like Patrick Stewart.
Something like that, yeah. But this guy goes through.
Make it so, number one.
This guy goes through all of the. I think I've seen one with a woman as well. But in the one I'm thinking of has a guy narrating, and he goes through all of them, including Liverpool, including.
I don't like spam.
He does these impressions.
That was Graham Chapman saying that he didn't like spam talking as a woman. He also he was gay.
So I was rest in
dead.
peace, Graham.
He's the one that's
He's
dead.
the dead one?
He's the dead one. It's surprising. Well, I don't want to. I'm not even going to say it. You can't knock on wood because I didn't even say it.
You thought it though. I'm knocking on wood because
like John Cleese said.
It's fucking 2016, Steve. Don't tempt fate.
I know, but like John Cleese last year.
Ow.
Or maybe it was the year before. Like he had a tour and he was touring with the Just for Laughs.
He had a sore.
Just for Laughs festival or Just Pourri up there in Canada.
Yeah.
And he was calling the tour like Before I Die tour, like just in case before I don't know, I forget what the fuck it was.
He was being a silly goose.
Yeah, but he's still around. Him and Eric Idle are doing stage shows. And that's cool.
Yeah. Was Eric? I was trying to think. John Cleese played Nearly Headless Nick in Harry Potter, but I don't know if Eric Idle ever got himself a Harry Potter part.
Yeah, the Terry Jones didn't get in there. Michael Palin didn't get in there.
Motherfuckers. What were they thinking?
I don't know. Is Michael Palin still alive?
I don't know.
Maybe he died too. Maybe there is more than one dead python.
Oh.
Well, there's probably shitloads of dead pythons.
I think
somewhere in the Amazon jungle.
I heard
and if I'm wrong about where those exist,
dead pythons can stink.
I'm sure Leo will be like, pythons aren't in the Amazon, you fucking moron. Know your like animals and where they live.
Know your
a tiger in Africa. Bring it back to Python a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I heard a story once from the aforementioned John.
The person that was looking for the prostitute.
No, though not the one who was looking for the prostitute. The other one. And I believe it was it him or was it Ken?
Ken Burns?
No, Ken Mills. Lives. One of them had a friend who had a snake go into the dashboard of their car and then die. And they couldn't figure out what smelled for a really long time. And then somebody had to take the entire car apart to look for what stunk. And they found a dead snake in the dashboard.
Well, how big was the snake?
I don't know. It was pretty big.
Well,
it was like a python.
If they can get onto planes, I mean, I imagine they could easily get into a car.
I've never seen that movie. Is Sam Jackson at all responsible for them getting on the plane?
No.
It's not his fault.
He's like a cop, I think. I forget the plot of that movie. Like he's like
a secret agent.
Some sort of thing going on in Hawaii, and then they put a bunch of snakes on.
He's got to have a gun. Is that insane? Well,
yeah, that's why he's a cop.
Frozone doesn't have a gun. But otherwise, have you seen a Sam Jackson? Sam Jackson. Have you seen a Sam Jackson joint where they? I'm sorry. Have you seen where he doesn't have a gun? Where does he not have a gun?
I'm sure there's movies.
I mean, Nick Fury has a gun. Jules has a gun.
What about that one where he was Black Snake Moan? Did he have a gun? I think he might have, actually. Never mind.
I don't know. I mean, pretty much any Quentin Tarantino movie with Sam Jackson, he probably has a gun, at least for like a scene.
What about, did he?
Oh, does he have a gun? A gun?
Does he have a cunt?
Does he have a gun in Django?
I think he might have.
For like even just like a scene or something?
Yeah, I think like, doesn't he like do some crazy shit?
He does some crazy shit.
Yeah, I think he might have actually had a gun.
He has it in I didn't see Hateful Eight, but I imagine he has a gun in that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if
it must be in his contract. No green M&Ms, and I have to have a gun.
There's a little sweet shop on the south side of town. We needed to get 1,000 brown M&Ms, or else Ozzy wouldn't go on stage. A bloody Bengal tiger. Wayne's World 2, if you're kind of wondering where that was from.
It's been a while since I've seen those films.
I actually enjoyed
cinematic masterpieces.
Like, I mean, it's not.
I enjoyed the first one. I don't remember the second one.
The second
all
one
that
is
well.
okay. It's not it's more spoofy.
Yeah, they have like a Wayne stock, right? Is that the end of the second one? Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit more spoofy than the first one, which was a little like. Right. Although the plot isn't necessarily cohesive because the end is 3 different endings.
But I was listening to this show. I was listening to 2 shows on the way over here. I think it was the first one.
First show? Our show?
No. But I was listening to them talk about Will Ferrell, and about a Will Ferrell sketch from SNL, and they went on to make the pronouncement that Will Ferrell is brilliant or is a genius or whatever, at which point I flipped my Radio the Bird because I don't find Will Ferrell funny. And I was going to say, I think for a lot of comedies, but maybe especially for the comedies that kind of spawn out of SNL people,
right?
I think it depends on whether or not you find them funny.
I mean, the Wayne's World, the skit was funny. Like,
I enjoyed it, and I find those guys funny. So I like those movies, but like Elf, I've never seen Elf, but the concept of Elf does not amuse me at all because of Will Ferrell's dumb face.
One of my favorite stories from SNL.
Sorry if you're out there listening, Will Ferrell.
Yeah, he's not. Who knows? He might be. Sorry, Will Ferrell. One of my favorite stories of SNL cast members was I think it was Tracy Morgan was on Opie and Anthony talking about it, and he was just talking about Will Ferrell. He would call him Will Ferrell. Be like, "Yo, Will Ferrell," and he would just when he would be like in character, he would be like. He would just be method, and just be that guy, all like off camera, and not like just always doing that, and so Tracy Morgan would just fuck with him, try to get him to break character, and. It's a pretty uninteresting story that I just said.
No, well, so I think that might have been the beginning of the end of my love affair with Kevin Smith. I'm on record as not liking Dogma because although I uncovered in one of those 2005, 2006 entries, I had Dogma on my list of 100 best movies. What the fuck? I mean, I did make the same objection, which is that I hate Linda Fiorentino. But when Kevin Smith was like, I get to work with Will Ferrell on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I was like, okay. And he wasn't bad in that, but that was the point at which I started to go like, Kevin has the people that he really likes to work with, and he gets really attached, and he keeps using them, as I think we've talked about. Michael Parks, he's in the last or the 2 movies he made after he stopped making comedies.
They actually made a sort of Clerks video game recently.
Oh, really?
It was it was about Randall. It was like Randall's Day Out or something.
Interesting.
Like that.
Okay. I've not seen this.
It was like It was the exact plot of Baby's Day Out, only put Randall in. And it's a video game. It's interactive.
Oh, yay. But he has people that he loves and he uses them, and he obviously is a Will Ferrell fan. But for me, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was a movie where I had to get past Will Ferrell to enjoy the rest of it. I don't know. I like the rest of it.
It's a goofy like, hey, I'm trying to be done with all these characters.
Right.
Let's wrap it up, but I didn't end up. Wrapping up.
I instead I did Clerks 2. Clerks 2 is good. I
didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously not as good as the first one, and like,
but Clerks 2
no sequel ever has been.
Clerks 2 has Rosario Dawson, and Rosario Dawson is A-okay in my book.
Okay.
She is very talented, I think.
Yeah.
And I am not.
He did that thing.
I did not do the hourglass figure thing.
Yeah, you did the hourglass.
I did not.
Don't lie to these people.
I might have thought it. No, she's great. I mean, she is the reason I think. And I don't know if we've talked about Luke Cage. I did not like Luke Cage as much as I liked Jessica Jones or Daredevil, but the Rosario Dawson's character is is one of the best things in all of those series, and she is definitely the best thing about Luke Cage.
All right, so I'm going to bring something up that they're rebooting DuckTales.
Apropos of nothing.
No, there is a connection.
There's a connection? All right, I care to explain.
The fucking guy who plays Kilgrave in Jessica Jones is going to be playing Scrooge McDuck.
You mean Doctor Who?
Doctor Who himself. What is it? Michael Tennant? David Tennant.
David Tennant. I should have said yes, and then waited for somebody to correct us.
Yeah.
Michael Tennant. Yes.
Michael Tennant.
Michael Tennant is he's
going to be Scrooge McDuck.
He's the 68th Doctor. He'll be playing Scrooge.
I was
McDuck.
watching like last night after we went to a wedding last week. Or yesterday.
Last week.
Well, it was last week. Today's
been
Sunday.
A while. Yeah. Okay.
Yesterday.
Today's Monday when people are listening to this.
We're recording this on Sunday.
Okay, right.
But
sure.
last week, like the week ends with Saturday, right?
Sure.
And
relative dating.
Well, okay. So if you look at a calendar, Chris, I'm just trying to. The week begins with Sunday.
I agree with you. I'm being a dick.
Oh, okay. Thanks. But like after the wedding last, I don't even know if I have enough time to talk about the wedding.
Minutes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was like it was Adam and Kristen, two people I went to college with. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. I got really drunk, but it was okay because we were supposed to take a shuttle from the hotel.
Yeah.
But what happened was we took an Uber because the shuttle never showed up at the hotel.
Use Uber.
Why?
I'll save it.
Okay.
If we have time, I'll get to an article I read this week about how you shouldn't use Uber.
All right. So, well, we did. Sorry.
Too late now.
And but like the shuttle, we picked the wrong hotel out of the two.
Oh, okay.
So, like, well, it wasn't a bad hotel.
Just that
It was just that it was the one that no one was staying at, and like
okay.
I guess no one like used the promo code or whatever to stay there, and so therefore they thought no one was staying there or some.
Okay.
So the fucking shuttle never showed up. But despite that, it was a fun evening. They had a great little wedding. The ceremony was one of those mercifully short ones.
Mercifully short is good.
Great. I drank a lot of liquor, and right before bed they had. It was like this weird animated version of like a Doctor Who episode. And I don't like it was on BBC America, and I'm gonna have to do some research into it because now I'm curious about it. I'm like, what the fuck was
That's how
this?
they get you, the animated episode.
No, but like it was I think they did this. It was in black and white, so I think it might have been one of those episodes that was lost.
Oh, okay. I've heard about that.
There's a bunch of, I don't know if there's a bunch, but I think there's like the first series. There's at least a couple episodes that do not exist.
Yeah, because they were low on tape and they didn't think anyone was going to watch them ever again, so they recorded right over the old ones or something.
Yeah, and like they also did that with like early episodes of the Tonight Show, and like that's something that. Like,
okay, yeah, the Tonight Show. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Well, I know. I think it was the same for Doctor Who,
okay.
but I may be wrong. Okay, so DuckTales.
DuckTales.
You're not gonna make any sort of gross like Webagale getting
wasn't even thinking about it until you just put it in my head.
But there's some people that are good in it. The guy who plays Abed in Community, he's I think one of the three brothers, Huey, Dewey, or Louie. I'm not sure.
Is it animated?
Yeah.
Okay. And are they
They're just
still
doing the
little
voices.
kids? Or
Yeah.
is the idea that they're grown up? Like, what's
No,
the,
I think
what's the,
it's just a reboot. So,
Okay.
yeah, I
All
think
right.
it's. I don't know. I don't understand why they need to do a reboot. Why don't they just show it again?
I don't. Yeah. Or not necessarily do a reboot, but like pick it back up from like where they left off.
I don't know if
I don't know.
was. I mean, there was storylines that were.
I guess
They made a movie. Like I think it was around the time that
that Disney was about to go out of goddamn business because they made.
No, I think it was right
terrible
before. Like it might have
direct-to-
been the year before.
the very goofy movie.
No, it was. I think in the early '90s because
Okay.
I remember.
Oh, so when Disney was still all right.
Yeah, I mean it was a little bit after The Little Mermaid before. I think it was in between
Oh, okay.
Little
Yeah,
Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, like the really good time. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so
What I'm referring to is like they had a renaissance there from 1989 through like 1994, and then it was all downhill from there for about 10, 15 years.
what after Pocahontas?
No, from the if you read in Ed Catmull's Creativity Inc., he talks about it, and I've just
yeah, I'm
finished
gonna go
teaching-
get right on and
It's
read that book.
It's a great book.
You could say that, and you're
but-
probably right, but
it's a book, so you're not gonna
I
read it.
never read. Like, there's a book right over there that I forgot to give back to Ryan. That is Confederacy of Dunces,
They
a
go-
book that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, but I still have yet to read.
The short version of it is they go for just about 20 years, 20 maybe a little bit longer, without a number one movie. So from The Lion King in 1994 until Tangled, which is 2007, 2008. No, 2010. So it's like 25 years or so they go without a number one hit. They go completely down the tubes, while meanwhile Pixar, which is
Basically
at that point is
giving it life support.
Yeah, Pixar is putting out their movies through Disney, but is a separate entity at this whole time. And then it's somewhere in the late aughts, early 20-teens that Pixar gets bought by Disney, and they infuse all of the Pixar people into Disney, and Disney starts making good movies again.
Haha.
Long digression, very important for me to get out because I am a scholar. I am a student of this stuff.
Yes.
Couldn't let it go.
Just
So
like we are
DuckTales-
not students of where fucking pythons live.
But so that was my point. My DuckTales came out during the period where they were doing awesome.
Yes, I mean, the series was out in I think started in 86, 87, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like, you know, like the perfect, like that show, and I think Rescue Rangers, I think, was like the perfect wheelhouse for like people.
You guys, like just a couple years younger than me,
Yeah.
DuckTales and I watched it a little bit, but you guys loved that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Disney afternoon.
Yeah, I because I don't like fun. I was not as
Yeah, but plus, like, you know, if we were like 8 or 9, you were, you know.
yeah. I was starting to be an ornery preteen.
Yeah.
and I was like, ugh.
You're like, I don't like cartoons. I don't know. What did you like when you were
When I was
11 or 12?
Comic books.
I like comic books.
Yeah.
I like the X-Men.
Ugh, and then they put out a shitty fucking TV series. That ruined- I love that you can recall that. I had forgotten about that.
Well, now it's in your brain again. And all of yours. Thank you.
So,
you're welcome.
will you watch DuckTales?
I
as
guess
I
don't know. Is it going to be
30-something?
like on the? Well, I guess we do get the Disney Channel, so maybe
It might be on like Disney XD, which is a whole other thing.
Is that another channel?
Yeah. There's Disney, there's Disney XD, and there's Disney Junior.
Well, we
and
probably
depends-
get it because we get, like, the reason why we have Disney is because we get Cartoon Network.
Yeah, okay.
So we can watch, you know.
I think
you know,
XD
stuff.
has a lot of the cartoons and like the slightly older.
Do they have like all those old cartoons? Like
I don't know if they have the old ones.
do you
but
remember the Wuzzles?
I do remember the Wuzzles. I think I had a Wuzzle.
I had a
back
Wuzzle.
in-
I think it was like the rhino monkey.
I think I had Ellaroo.
Ellaroo.
Which was the elephant and kangaroo.
That was, I think, Michael Eisner just being like, well, this is fun. We'll just combine animals.
Combine animals.
Why did Michael Eisner sound like a drunk?
I wonder.
Was he a drunk?
I don't know. But the guy made some questionable decisions. Is
Yeah.
what it sounds like. Yeah, I mean, that's creativity. You know what? They should make it an audiobook. They should have somebody, and then I should buy it for you, and you can listen to it when you're done with podcasts.
Yeah, like or get David Tennant to read it.
You mean Michael Tennant?
Michael Tennant.
Michael Tennant.
He is my Michael Tennant. He pays me rent.
You realize you had it right, and I just
I know I did.
Wrong.
Yes.
All right. With
Tennant.
our remaining 6 minutes and change.
Let's do Super Mario Run. Let's run through that.
Let's run through Super Mario
Lightning
Run.
round. Super Mario Run.
The only other thing that was, well, there was the Uber thing. But then the other thing that was on there was...
Let's do the Uber thing because it's relevant to what we talked about earlier.
And there was also... I watched the first 3 episodes of Westworld.
We can talk about it next time when maybe you finished it.
Maybe I finished. So here is from Daring Fireball, John Gruber's wonderful website that I frequent. He linked to this, and I'm just going to read the part that he highlighted rather than the whole article. So Uber's privacy data problems. This is Gruber summarizing. He says, it's a scathing investigative report by Will Evans writing for Reveal. Here's the...
I knew a guy named Will Evans.
Yeah?
I don't know. Maybe it's the same guy. That'd be crazy.
Here's Evans now. For anyone who snagged a ride with Uber, Ward Spangenberg...
What?
It's an unfortunate
name. Is this
name.
fake news?
No, this is not.
Did you find this on InfoWars?
No, I did not, Mr. Original Alex Jones. Ward Spangenberg has a warning. Your personal information is not safe. Internal Uber employees helped ex-boyfriends stalk their ex-girlfriends and searched for the trip information of celebrities such as Beyoncé, the company's former forensic investigator said. Quote, Uber's lack of security regarding its customer data was resulting in Uber employees being able to track high-profile politicians, celebrities, and even personal acquaintances of Uber employees, including ex-boyfriends or girlfriends and ex-spouses, Spangenberg wrote in a court declaration signed in October under penalty of perjury. After news broke 2 years ago that executives were using the company's, quote, God View feature to track customers in real time without their permission, Uber insisted it had strict policies that prohibited employees from accessing users' trip information with limited exceptions. But 5 former Uber security professionals told Reveal that the Center for Investigative Reporting... from the Center for Investigative Reporting, that the company continued to allow broad access even after those...
They allowed access to women?
They prefer women, not broads, Steve. I don't know if you've got
I told those guys in the newsroom 100 times, never call chicks broads.
They're currently under, this is back to Gruber, he says, they're currently under investigation by the FTC. Here's another quote. The Federal Trade Commission, the Consumer Protection Agency...
That's the Federation.
is investigating Uber's information security practices and recently deposed Sullivan, according to security sources.
All right, so maybe we won't. Maybe we'll get. Is Lyft any better? The one with
I don't
pink
gather
mustache?
that. I don't gather that any of them are any better, but. You know,
but
they're better than a cab, right? Because they actually come.
We got the one guy that drives for Uber out there.
Yeah,
like it took him like 15 minutes to get there, and I'm like, Jesus.
You know, he's the king of the Ubers.
Yes,
he's the Uber. He's the Uber.
Yeah, he's that guy like the king with the tiger in Walking Dead.
I've never seen that show.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Don't.
I had
spoilers. The guy with the tiger.
Yeah, spoilers. One
that
guy
he got in Africa.
Spoilers. One guy dies, and then another guy dies. The second guy is the one you expected to die.
Right. Sure.
That's what I heard. Listen to a whole episode discussing the season premiere without ever having watched. Oh, that's not true. I watched the first episode 1.5 times.
Wow.
Because it's like 2 hours long. So I watched it once.
All you have to do is just play the pinball machine. You'll know everything.
You know everything about it. All right.
Everything I know about a television show, I learned from playing its pinball machine.
You mentioned that earlier. There was another one that I could learn. Wait, wasn't there?
Pinball machine?
What, another pinball machine that I could just play the pinball and know what the hell was
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I didn't.
They cut off his head.
And put it on a pike.
They put it
Spoilers. That's season 1. If you haven't watched season 1 by now, you're a fucking asshole.
Then they cut off then they cut off his son's head and put it on a wolf.
All right. Do you want to talk about Super Mario Run?
We got about a minute.
So I guess not. Let's
we
just
can
do
run
plugs.
right through it. I mean, all we were going to say about Super Mario Run is that I paid the $10 to own it, and you are still playing the free level.
The first 3 levels.
Yeah. This comes back to my feeling about needing to buy things and needing to support people directly financially because I don't like ads. So if I don't like ads, I have to.
See, I might actually buy it, but it's just it's the pain in the neck that I don't like. Like for the same reason that I kind of don't have an Uber myself.
Okay.
Or the Uber app.
You don't like to have your card number somewhere?
Just available for things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't like purchasing things like on the Apple Store or like on the PlayStation Network or whatever else. I'll usually get a gift card.
Right. My mom does the same thing.
And then put the gift card into the whatever, and then it's just the same thing, only,
Yeah.
But I have very little credit left on my account. Like
Right.
I have less than $10, so I can't do it
Yeah,
right
so you
now
need
until
to-
I get a gift card.
Got it. Okay. I get you. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it. What I'm realizing is every time I go in to play the Toad Rally, I pick somebody that I think I can beat, and they beat the shit out of me. So I obviously don't understand the way that the Toad Rally scores work, because the Toad
You
Rally
just do like crazy flips and shit.
Well, I know, but like I'll have like a 98, or like that'll be mine, and then I'll see somebody who has an 86, and I'm like, oh, I can beat somebody with an 86, and then they get like 300 as their score at the end of the round, and I get like 150. I'm still figuring out the mechanics of the game.
Well, the thing is, like,
it is a little too complicated.
You
There's
have
a whole,
to get a lot of coins, and you have to do lots of crazy flips.
Yeah.
While you're getting those coins.
while you're getting the coins. Yeah. What I should do is be a completist and go back and get all of the special coins in each of those early levels.
I don't understand why you haven't done that already.
Because I want to enjoy my video gaming experience, and I'm not good at video games. And so when it comes to video games, I need to not be a completist. One of the reasons I haven't played Alpha Bear, which was my favorite game in like a month, is that I can't just play it for enjoyment anymore. My completist nature has taken over, and
See, that's me. Like, that's what I was doing before you showed up. I was playing that damn Lego game again.
Yeah. Oh, have you
Trying to-
beaten it once?
No, I haven't beaten it
okay.
yet. But I just trying to get all the things in it. Just
okay.
running around the fucking...
That might be my next game. Is I keep saying I'm gonna get that, or I'm gonna get...
Well, it's one of those ones that you feel like you need to get all the stuff, and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, my mom says that about she likes the Lego Harry Potter. And she has been through those a couple of times trying to get
All the things.
Get all the things. But
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all.
pokey balls.
Yeah, so...
You can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/125. And if you have anything to say about what we said or what we didn't say, or how we got Michael Tennant's name wrong,
You mean David Tennant.
I think you're thinking of Brian Tennant.
Brian?
Brian. Wulfric Dumbledore.
What?
Albus, Brian, Percival, Wolverick. No,
Why does he have so many fucking names?
I don't know. It's Albus,
Goddamn
Percival,
wizards. I like
Wulfric,
being a
Brian,
nomad.
Dumbledore. Oh, yeah. Me too. I prefer to be a nomad than a muggle. I would.
No, I think we talked about this last week, and I didn't like that word.
Hot at clarkwoods.com is where you can send your emails, or you can find us on the Twitters. I am at ECC1977.
And I am at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday, I-S, Loser, all one word.
Yep, that's it.
That's it, and...
Are we allowed to say Merry Christmas?
yeah, you could say it again.
I can
but
say
fuck
it
it. I'm saying happy holidays for all you Jews.